right. What's good? What's good? Good morning. Just heels. I'm heels off of my gun show vending experiment. I did a book signing and sale at a gun show in Miami this weekend. Went to a comic book convention on Friday, and then the gun show on Saturday and Sunday. Busy weekend, but it was real good. You can't always plan when events are going to take place, and you got to take advantage of your local events. So, I did the gun show because I sell a book called the Harlem Shake. It's a series, and it features survivalists, people with bug-out bags, water filters, eat off the land, all that other stuff. It's in the post-apocalypse like Mad Max and The Walking Dead. It's very fun, story like that. So anyway, I just figured, let's see how it sells at the gun show. And it sold 99% of the books sold were Harlem Shake. I sold one or two other books from my selection of books. Anyway, today's blog, I'm blogging about when people say your book sounds like a movie or something like that. Yeah, that should be a movie or whatever. Sometimes when people say that, it sounds like a diss, sometimes, right? When people say that, it sounds like a diss. And then sometimes it sounds like a compliment, like, yo, that should be a movie, or that sounds like a movie. It sounds like they're saying it doesn't sound like it's a book, or it doesn't sound like it's something I want to read, something I want to watch. And I got that a lot this weekend at the gun show. And I never really figured out why that comment sounded negative and what they meant by it, because they were such friendly people. First of all, the gun show didn't have all Confederate flag NRA people. Okay, these might be NRA people. Okay, but they're not the MAGA hat. I did see I saw one MAGA hat, right? And he actually spoke to me. But the rest of the people, of course, is in Miami. They're black and Latino. There wasn't a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure 90% of them were black and Latino, and maybe 60% were Latino. Okay, they might look white to people from Kansas, but they're Latino, and even a lot of the gun sellers were black and Latino. Anyway, so I heard that comment a lot at the gun show, and how I take it, or how it seemed to me at the gun show, is that it's not, it wasn't meant as a diss, because it was too many friendly people that were talking friendly and responded. Heck, even some of them bought the book, and said that stuff, made that comment. So I don't think it was negative, How I take it is, there is a change in science fiction. What we know as traditional Star Wars, Star Trek, science fiction, meaning, white-dominated science fiction is one thing, and also the energy of it being very Western, okay? When you put something that's urban, that sounds sort of cool, sounds a little different from what you see out there, it doesn't always seem like something that is in literature. It's not even a black thing. Like, if you read some of the Pulp Fiction books, look up Pulp Fiction books, right? Pulp Fiction are very action stories, Some of them were written so fast that they came out once a month because people would just read through them like pow, pow, And I can't necessarily write a book a month, but if I had to, if they was paying me good money and I was able to make, 50, 60,000, yo, I'm doing it. Or more, I'm doing it. I can do it. Burn me out of ideas, but hell, I do it, But, one of the series that I like is the Executioner series. And in that series, it's a, what you call it? It's a, now I don't even know if Execution is Pulp Fiction, right? But the Execution is a lot of action. It's deep concepts. I have no idea why it's probably branched off from other literature. It does feel like it's a movie, and although they have maybe 100 books in that series, there is no movie, right? But it is like 24. It's like not James Bond. Gosh, trying to think. Probably First Blood. London Has Fallen. He's that type of person. What else? So it's like that. A military, secret agent. Not a secret agent, but he's just a military hitman. That goes out and handles stuff and protects stuff for people. The best way to describe it is that London Has Fallen, Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down. That series, that's more like the Executioner. But in terms of somebody saying your book sounds like a movie, I take it always as a compliment. Some people are not used to reading books, and some people who read certain types of books only see certain types of stories as books. But it doesn't mean that books are for a certain type of story. Every story is welcome in books. I think the hardest type of story is a comedy, in books. But even comedies are written in books. There's another series I have yet to read. I have 2 copies of it from the 70s, is the Destroyer series. And they seem like, 21 Jump Street comedic, Rush Hour with Chris Tucker type of series. Now, I will say that books have fallen, because of publishers and because of big success, everybody's going for the top dollar, Same thing with movies. There's going to be a lot of, pressure on Marvel and DC, and other people's going to try to come out with superheroes. They see something that works and everybody runs to it, so that's all they want to do. Same thing with books, they went for a certain type of book, and it was killing it, So when it comes to today's books, you almost got to look in the independent book market. Well, you don't have to almost look. You do have to look in the independent book market, because in the independent book market, we have a variety of books. Many of them are worthy of getting published. In terms of the writing and the stories, they're just not the type of story that a publisher is looking for. I've talked to plenty of published authors like myself who've gotten published by publishing companies, but because of everybody wants the next Twilight, everybody wants the next Lord of the Rings, these boxes that they take submissions in, the ones that are not what is the flavor of the month fall by the side. And a lot of these authors have these ideas, and they're just like, I wanted to write a Western. Where is it going? What publisher's looking for a Western right now? Nobody. But that doesn't mean the story's not good. It doesn't mean he's not a good writer. So for you to look for stories that are probably in film, that sound like a film, you have to go into the independent publishing market, small press, and self-published books. Okay, and of course that's a landmine for editing challenges. But shoot, I've found mistakes in big publishers' books that they've released. So to say that's a stereotype of indie authors is wrong. Unedited authors, and that could be anybody. So, and now we have Grammarly, so you should be able to put your grammar through the Grammarly program. It's free online, no excuses. But however, hey, it is what it is. So I don't think that somebody saying your book sounds like a movie is a bad thing. They may not know how to say it sounds like a comic book or it sounds like a board game. They'll never say that. They wouldn't know. Most people, more people watch movies than read books. Some people, and people who read also watch. So you don't really find people who read not knowing what movies are about or television's about. But there are a lot of people that watch television and movies and don't read, and they don't know all of the varieties of genres. And even if they do, sometimes they only go to Barnes and Nobles, they only go to Books A Million or Second and Charles, right? Or small bookstores, which really struggle to represent small press and independent artists, independent writers. So they don't know all of the different genres, subgenres. Like I write black sci-fi. If we find a black sci-fi book in Barnes and Nobles, it's a lottery pick. I mean, if there's one in there and there's no section, we're not in the African American section. We have an African American section. It's easy to put us in the African American section and in the sci-fi section, but they don't. So it's really hard to find this new emerging subgenre of black sci-fi, anywhere. So again, I don't know. I think it was my title, Welcome to Boss Lady's Planet, or Harlem Shake. It's about an earthquake that hits New York City, and so maybe because it's a big catastrophe story, and we haven't seen major catastrophe stories really told in books on a large level in years. I can't really remember one. I mean, I know when I was looking for books that I needed to study before I wrote Harlem Shake, I didn't find many. Most of them, again, was from the 70s, 80s, a lot of them. And for me to give references, I have to say San Andreas. I have to say 2012. I have to give The Day After Tomorrow and other movie references like Earthquake, because for the books, they don't really have them. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to address that your book sounds like a movie is not a bad thing. We know when people say it should be a movie, that's a good comment. You should make this a movie. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has no problem with that. It's like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? You almost recognize it's a compliment right away, and you end up saying thank you. But so is the other way of saying it, and I don't think that's a problem. Now, I didn't even know how to respond myself when I used to hear it. So now when people say it, I'll definitely say thank you. All right? All right, peace.